They can't finish the job. They can't take Bakhmut. So probably Prighozhin, which is like a warlord and a mercenary group leader, probably he wants to leave Bakhmut in order to save some of his troops.
Now, increasingly unpredictable and potentially dangerous is how the UN describes the situation surrounding the Russian-held Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station in Ukraine, calling for action to prevent a severe nuclear accident. The head of the UN's nuclear power watchdog gave the warning yesterday amid reports of evacuations underway in a nearby town. It's been ordered by the local Russian-installed governor. Well, let's speak to Oleksy Honcharenko, who is a Ukrainian MP and a member of Ukraine's delegation to the Council of Europe. Good morning.
Good morning.
How worried are you about what is happening around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant?
Definitely, it's a very worrying situation. For the first time in human history, nuclear power plant is hostage during the combat, and nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia is the biggest in Europe and the third biggest in the world. And definitely that is very much concerning. Russians are really blackmailing the world with the situation there.
Do you think this is just part of Russia trying to play games ahead of the long-expected Ukrainian counteroffensive?
It can be everything. Definitely they try to raise the pressure and also to threaten the world. That's what they're doing all the time. At the same time, I think they really are worried about, because last year Ukrainian counteroffensive were extremely successful. So it's clear for everybody that this counteroffensive can be kind of a pivotal moment. So that's why I think they really are concerned.
When should we expect this Ukrainian counteroffensive? We keep being told it's imminent, it's imminent. Do we have any idea when it really is going to happen?
If I would know the exact day,
you're not going to tell me
here on the radio. Yeah, but
it's a fair point.
But in any way, I can tell you that finally the weather permits it. So before it was this April was very rainy in Ukraine, so there was a real mud, and it was really impossible to make any big movements before. In just recent maybe week, maybe a little bit more, which the weather changed. So, like thinking about weather, I think it can be very soon. But what are plans of our military? I don't know.
Let's talk about reports which we have been looking at overnight that Russia, has been accused by Ukraine of using phosphorus bombs in Bakhmut. Tell us what you know about that.
We have a video footage of Bakhmut. Bakhmut became sadly famous in the whole world because that was not a big town. Before invasion, 70,000 population. But Russia is attacking this town in eastern Ukraine from July of last year, so soon 1 year. Today, majority of the city, biggest part, is controlled by Russians, but still there is part of the city which is controlled by Ukraine. And the previous night, they attacked this part of this town with incendiaries munitions, with the phosphorus bombs. And there is a video of this, and quite striking video. It's on my Twitter. You can find it on the internet. So that's really, I just want to remind that incendiary munition is forbidden according to Geneva Convention, but Russia is using it oftenly.
Just explain for people who don't understand what type of weapon it is. Just explain how it works.
It's a kind of shells which have inside phosphorus, white phosphorus, which makes some fire and a lot of smoke. And also they have both chemical, also quite some chemical effect. So that is why they are forbidden by Geneva Convention.
I was reading last night, it's almost like a waxy substance, white phosphorus, and it burns at 800 degrees Celsius. And what makes it so dangerous is it ignites on contact with oxygen. And what's really awful is that it can reignite when bandages are removed. So a really horrendous weapon, as you rightly point out, one that is not meant to be used. And Russia has signed up to the convention on certain conventional weapons, so knows that it mustn't be used. I mean, do we have any sense of what it is like in Bakhmut at the moment, when we're bearing in mind that these kind of weapons are being used?
That's a kind of the hell, what's going on in Bakhmut. I have several of my friends who are there all around, and what they're telling that it's the hell in the world. The Russians are using everything they have because they want to finish the battle for Bakhmut before May 9, so-called Victory Day, which they kind of a sacred day for Putin's Russia. And they try to take Bakhmut to show it's a kind of result and success. That's why they're using everything they have now. But in general, that's a Russian playbook of the war. That is barbaric. They're using everything and they don't care.
How are your friends coping? Are they fighting in Bakhmut? Or are they sheltering? Just tell us a little bit about how they're surviving right now.
They're fighting, but yes, they are a big part of the day. They are in kind of shelters, but also they're in trenches. And also Ukraine have losses there. And but Russians, they don't count people at all. Bakhmut and all around is just covered with the bodies. It's an awful picture, like in the World War One, kind of I don't know, just a lot of bodies all around.
Gosh, just can't even begin to contemplate what it must be like for those fighters. We do understand that the Wagner Group boss is saying that he's going to withdraw his troops from Bakhmut this week because they have shortages of ammunition. Do you believe that?
They really have the main shortage they have is shortage of people, even for them, because they lost tens of thousands of people during the battle for Bakhmut. And it looks like really they can't finish the job. They can't take Bakhmut. So probably Prighozhin, which is a warlord and mercenary group leader, probably he wants to leave Bakhmut in order to save some of his troops. And just now he's trying to accuse somebody why he was not successful. And that's a kind of a mess inside Russian army. Some people are saying that it also can be some stage performance and some kind of disinformation. It's quite hard to say. Everything is possible with Russians, but really Wagner Group is, in reality, Wagner Group is almost destroyed. So it more exists now on paper and in the media than in reality. So heavy losses they have. So it's absolutely probable and possible that they want to stop for the battle and they can't move anymore.
Oleksy, thank you so much for speaking to us. Really insightful.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. And my congratulations with the coronation. Long live the king.
Oh, Oleksy, that's really kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
That is Oleksy Honcharenko, a Ukrainian MP and a member of Ukraine's delegation to the Council of Europe.